blurry. All right, so we're gonna let me see. Let me make sure that the lights out. I got
Country Trucker Brad.
Country Trucker Brad. Can you guys hear us good? Is the audio good? I just want to make sure that, because I know the APU's running. So you good, right? You good on AC?
It's unseasonably warm in Springfield.
I know, man. Yes, yes. So we'll give it a few seconds, guys, for some people to come in. Just all right. Audio's good. Yes. Okay, Brian Mendoza. So Country Trucker Brad.
Yep.
Brad, right? I just want to make sure I get it right, man.
Yep. That's right.
Country Trucker Brad. That is his YouTube channel, guys. Go over there, check him out, and we're gonna find out why he came to Prime. Out of all the companies, why Prime? It's a good question, right?
Great question. Absolutely.
So yeah, we are in the automatic, guys. A 12-speed automatic. Is that what they call it now?
I never thought I'd see the day.
Yeah.
Junior did not have a stick on the floor.
Yeah, man. So, anyways, let's get about Country Trucker Brad. I gotta get that right. Country Trucker Brad, guys. So, how long you been here at Prime now?
I started training January 12th of 2021.
January. Oh, so this year.
Yep.
Okay, so you've been here almost 10 months.
Correct.
10 months. What did you do before coming to Prime? Can you guys hear him good? Just want to make sure he can be heard good.
So immediately before coming to Prime, I was actually in the freight broker business. So I was on the freight brokerage side of this transportation industry.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I worked for a smaller company called Armstrong Transportation.
Armstrong Transportation.
And we were a third-party logistics company, which obviously I know, especially right now, that those guys are killing it in this market. Spot market freight is through the roof. These guys have never seen probably better rates in their life. And they're foolish if they're not taking advantage of it.
Okay. All right.
I did that for 2 years, and then I got really sick towards the end of 2019, and nobody could really figure out what was wrong with me. I saw, a bunch of different specialists. Nobody could, figure out why I was having the issues I was having until I ended up at a GI doctor. And
What's GI?
Gastroenterologist.
Oh.
So I ended up at a GI doctor, and she was running some tests and stuff, endoscope and all that kind of stuff. And she noticed something that made her want to run a test on my liver. And they ran a test on my liver and realized that I had liver problems.
Ooh.
So, going through all that, I basically, was not able to work just because of, the symptoms and everything that I had. There was no way I could talk on the phone. I couldn't book freight anymore. I couldn't talk to customers. It made life really, really hard. So Armstrong ended up not renewing my contract. I was a 1099 employee for them for obvious reasons. If I couldn't do the job, they were going to put someone else in there. And so once I got healed up, it took me about 6 to 7 months before the medication and everything finally got everything back to normal. And then once that happened, I was kind of in the middle of nowhere, because before the brokerage thing, I was a manager for a sign supply company for 13 years.
Wow.
And I left that job. When you are working for someone else and you don't feel the respect that you deserve, it makes it really hard to work for.
Yes.
And it got to the point where I felt like they didn't respect what I was doing. And I had grown that branch, that specific branch that I took over and managed. I made it the most profitable branch. It had been around for about 12 years. And I took it from its highest point before me was about $1.3 million a year. and when I left, it was about $3.7 million a year.
Wow. Wow.
So after the freight brokerage thing, I didn't want to go back into management, so I decided that I wanted to do some sort of dispatching. Ended up at a medical dispatching company, which I was kind of, not, I want to say lied to, but they deceived me on what it actually was going to be. It basically turned into more of a glorified customer service role, making $12.50 an hour. And I left a job where I was making almost $22 an hour.
Right.
So
Man.
It made it really difficult, you know, on my family to take that job. Had to work weekends, nights, holidays, all that kind of stuff. And I said, well, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to go and do something that's going to make it worth it. And I've always liked, construction equipment, big rigs, tanks. My dad was in the military, so I grew up around all that kind of stuff. It just became kind of a natural fit. I like driving. And so I started researching companies, and I decided that, I think Prime was the best fit for me.
Okay. So, man, you went through all that, and you said family. Are you referring to wife, kids? Or?
Yep, I'm married. I got 2 kids.
All right.
I got one that's 16, one that's 10.
Oh, that's awesome. 16 and 10. Okay. So, in this whole mess, when you told your wife you wanted to drive trucks, what was her take? Because, man, I remember the day I told my wife, I was like,
yeah. She actually took it better than I thought she was going to. But at first, I think she kind of just like looked at me and was like, what? Are you serious?
It just reminded my student, are you serious right now?
Yeah, exactly. You get that look like, are you messing with me?
Wow. So she wasn't in. Now, why do you think she got that reaction, or why did you get that reaction from her? Is it because
I think because it really had come out of nowhere. I mean, I had talked about it like early on in our relationship, but once you're in a relationship and you start to have kids and have a family, let me take this back one step. If this had been 15, 16 years ago and my child had just been born, no chance you're getting me in a truck.
Right.
No chance.
And yes, and I can understand that, because when I came out, I had 2 little ones myself. So little ones. So yeah, it's hard.
I mean, it's still, when you come into this industry, you have to be mentally strong.
Yes.
Because there are days that it does kind of wear on you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, man, I wonder what they're doing at home. Or, when you've been out, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, and, you're like, man, I really miss them. That you gotta be able to push through that stuff and look at the bigger picture.
Yes.
And understand why you're doing what you're doing out here.
That is correct. So you told your wife's on board with this, and now this
Eventually.
good thing you said eventually, because this is one thing I tell everybody. When you come out here and you and your significant other, your partner, your wife, your husband, make sure that you both are on the same page, because if not, you're only convincing that person temporary.
Yep. You got to be 100. You both have to be 100% in it. You can't be 90%, 70%. You both have to be 100%, because it's just as hard on the person who's at home as it is as the person who's on the road. Because that person at home now has to do everything. They've got to schedule doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, make sure the kids are at school on time, handle their own job if they're working. I mean, you have to, much respect goes out to the mothers,
yes,
significant others that have to run the home operation while we are out here trying to make money.
Let me get the questions out of Country Trucker Brad, and then I'll get you guys to ask him questions if you guys have any questions. But so you guys are on board together.
Yep.
At this point, did she ask you, or did she ask you where you're going to work at, or did you already have an idea, or how did they go about becoming Prime Inc?
Okay. So when I when a thought originally crossed my mind, I was literally sitting at the desk working that $12.50 an hour job, just going, what the hell am I doing? I'm beating my head against the wall. I'm going nowhere. So on my break, I was like, oh, you know, truck driving. So I just typed in truck driving. And then I typed in truck driving schools. And I started investigating on my own what was out there. Now, how much would it cost me if I had to pay for it? Was there anyone who offered any sort of, you know, paid training that I didn't have to pay for? Because my medical bills had eaten pretty much all of our savings. So it was, I mean, we didn't have a lot of extra money for me to just throw around, you know, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 for a school. So I started researching, you know, and obviously the, you know, the ones come up: CRST, CR England, you know, Swift, Prime, Knight, you know, all those schools. So I started researching them, and I for some reason I just kept coming back to Prime. Now, I didn't tell my wife this at first. I did tell her that it was one of the ones I found, but then one day we were getting ready to go to bed, and she told me, she goes, hey, you know, I've been researching some stuff, and she's like, you know, what do you think about Prime? And I was like, well, I've been researching it too, and I mean, I keep coming back to that one. And she's like, all right. She's like, I'm going to do some more research. So she did some more research on her own. And we just kind of compared notes.
The pros and cons.
You know, from each of them. And both of us landed with Prime. Like, it just seemed like it was going to be the most logical fit. They actually had a terminal in Salt Lake City, which was close to our home. Yeah, I know Swift does, you know, as well, down there. But I just kept coming back to Prime, and it was, you know, one of the number one things for me was safety. That was huge.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that we were going to be in, you know, newer vehicles, and the overall size of the company.
Okay.
The size of the company, to me, told me that it was stable. It wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't just going to fold under, you know, one day you're going to come in or be out on the road. Like, I've heard horror stories, people being out on the road, and all of a sudden they got no fuel card. You know, how are they going to get home?
Yes. Yep. So you come to Prime.
Yep.
And then January 19th, and you said Salt Lake City was the nearest terminal for you.
Yep. That's where I went to training at.
That's where you went to training. How was it? Well, first of all, let's go back to the hiring process.
Yep.
With the recruiter. How was that for you?
Okay.
In your opinion?
So the hiring process for me, it was fine. It was a little less than what I had expected.
Okay.
It seemed like, and I don't know if, you know, my recruiter was, you know, just extremely busy.
Who was your recruiter?
You know, I can't even remember his name. That's how insignificant he is to me right now. So, I know a lot of people say that they know their recruiter, but that, I mean, basically for me, all he was an email, a phone call, and here's a ticket to go, you know, take your urine test, your DOT physical, and then here's your rental car. I mean, that was basically the conversations that we had. I think I sent him 2 emails. We exchanged 2 or 3 phone calls, and that was about it. But like, to say, I mean, he was pretty much on board. I mean, he knew what he was doing, and he was very efficient. We just didn't have that much interaction, you know. And I guess the best way to put it is, if there was no problems, it's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
And you don't remember people if you don't really have any problems with them.
Right, but you know, there's always something, that one thing that you know, you interact with that person and you remember them by. But you know, in this case, your process was a little bit less than expected. It went well.
Yeah,
no hiccups.
Nope.
You get the terminal.
Yep.
What is your first stop? Well, you actually was. How far was the terminal from your house?
At that time, it was about 5 hours. It was
So
about
you-
a 5-hour drive.
So you get to the terminal.
Yep.
What are your first thoughts?
When I pulled up, I thought it was gorgeous. I thought it was a gorgeous facility, but I didn't know any different, you know. So I pulled up and I'm like, wow, it's nice, like look first class.
All right, cool.
So I wasn't exactly sure where to go. Probably one of the things that he could have communicated a little better.
Ah, yes.
So I get to the terminal. Obviously, there's a gate. You know, I'm not sure where to go. So eventually, you know, I kind of figure out, okay, it looks like there's some cars over here. So I parked, walk up to a door, hoping that it's not like locked and I can't get in. Open the door. I'm greeted by a security person. And then she pointed me kind of in the direction that I needed to go and who I needed to talk to.
Okay. So how was orientation for you?
Orientation was awesome. Troy, I know names. So Troy out in Salt Lake City, great dude, very funny. He made the orientation process, you know, about as seamless as could be.
Okay.
We got in there.
Shout out to Troy out there in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, absolutely. We got out there. You know, first thing you do, they have you, you know, sign some papers. They ask you some questions about, you know, smoking, non-smoking, all that kind of stuff. And then from there, we went to the CBTs, did those. And then the only hiccup that we actually had was it took a little longer for our backgrounds to clear for my class. I'm not sure exactly why. It was about half a day longer, I think, than they had originally expected. But once our backgrounds cleared, we were given the green vests, our green badge, and ready to go out to the pad and start learning.
All right. So now, were you a pad student, or did you go on the road for your PSD?
So in my class, there were 7 people that were not rehires or something like that. So 7 brand new people. I was one of 2 that actually went on the road.
Let's see.
So I was on the pad. I started on the pad Thursday afternoon, so Friday, and I think my trainer picked me up. So maybe 4 days on the pad.
Oh, but you didn't actually train on the pad is what I was asking.
Nope.
Which is a good thing. I'm not a fan of pad trainers, guys. I'm sure you guys know that already. I'm not a fan of those guys at all. So if you're thinking of becoming a pad trainer, don't do it. Don't do it. So you went out on the road. So we're going to talk about PSD training, which is the process of you learning to get your CDL. And then we're going to talk about TNT. How was your PSD?
So PSD wasn't actually that bad. I got onto the truck. Now, my trainer was a little, I don't know. If you had thin skin, you probably would have gotten poked real easy. He was a little gruff, but he was great at what he did. And what he did for me was teach me how to drive the truck.
Was he a jokester? Or like the type that you know some people will crack a joke and you like, okay, like, you know.
No, not really. I mean, he was pretty much, you know, down to business. Like he had a job to do. He was there to do it, and if he was a little gruff around the edges, then so be it. He was not there to, you know, coddle you or, you know, be your best friend in the whole world after it was all said and done. He had a job to do, and his job was to teach you how to drive the truck. And that's exactly what he did. Now, I will go back a second and say that the one thing that I wish he had done was allowed me to back the truck.
Oh, man. Do you see what I'm talking about, people? Man?
So,
oh, my God. So you didn't back up on the road?
I won offset back in 4.5 weeks that I was on the road.
Oh, my God.
Never bumped a dock. I backed into a truck stop parking lot with no trucks around.
It's funny because I was thinking no trucks around, and you said it.
And no trucks around.
Oh my God! So, man, so you was on the road 4 weeks with them.
Yep.
And then you came back onto the pad.
Correct.
With the same trainer.
Same trainer.
Same trainer. And how many days did you spend on the pad practicing your maneuvers?
I can't put it in days. I have to put it in hours.
What?
I literally, in 3 days on the pad, I'm telling you, in 3 days on the pad, I spent 4 hours total.
In 3 days?
3 days. Going through backing maneuvers.
So what is that, an hour and 15 minutes? Hour and 20 minutes?
Basically their lunch break at the pad. No nighttime anything. It's completely different. It's a completely different world in Springfield than it is in Salt Lake City.
So I'm assuming you had the driving forward and keeping it in the lane and
I had that down.
Watching your mirrors, all that stuff.
I had that down within the first
But I
2
think
days.
that's only a third of everything you need to learn.
I should have done way more backing. And we'll get to that here in a second.
So you stay with the same PSD trainer.
Same trainer.
You're on the pad.
Yep.
And after 4 hours and 3 days later,
Yep.
you test.
Here comes test day.
Did you feel you were ready?
I felt confident. I really did. But the only thing, so I nailed the pre-trip. You know, obviously that was one big thing, and I'll tell you guys this: if you're coming to Prime, make sure you study that pre-trip. And I did that starting from once I decided I was coming to Prime. I literally watched Junior's video on pre-trips. I watched Prime's video. I watched a whole slew of YouTube videos on pre-trip. Once I got to Prime and they give you their little checklist every night back at the hotel, all I did was read that thing frontwards and read that thing backwards.
Now let me ask you something that I usually do with my students, because that's just me in my natural ways of doing things. Did he ever get out and help you do a pre-trip?
One time. Got his little checklist out. Went through it. I missed 3 things.
And then one time, that's it.
One time.
Man, I feel good. I feel good because every time we get out with my students during the PSD, I get out with them. How do I know that the student's doing it right? How does the student know he's doing it right if he doesn't have some type of guidance?
Yep.
And that's what we trainers need to be doing. Not everybody does that. So you test out.
Yep.
You were nervous. I know you were nervous.
I was nervous. Passed the pre-trip, missed one thing. Move on to straight back, killed it, no points. Moved on to the offset to the left, killed it, no points. Here comes the alley dock.
Oh, you got alley dock.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now, can you imagine basically 4 hours of training
and one backing on the road
and one offset back on the road?
Offset. Oh my God.
And here comes, I could have got any other backing maneuver and I probably would have passed the first time, trifected, no problem.
Oh my God.
Here comes the alley dock. Now, the one thing that I wish he would have done during training, he trained me exactly how to alley dock if everything went perfectly. And obviously they give you those, you know, reference points on the trailers. Well, come test day, all of a sudden Salt Lake had decided that they were changing the pad that all the tests were going to be done on, which meant that the trailer changed also.
Oh my God.
So now I get out to the alley dock. I'm on a trailer that I can't see any of the same reference marks that I had before.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
You can see where this is going.
Man.
So I'm out there and, you know, and I start cutting it, you know, and I realize, oh, Brad, you're way too close to the inside cone. So I say, okay, Brad, you need to fix this. So what do? I pull up and to the right.
Oh, you caught yourself in that.
And all that did was put that trailer at an extremely close angle back towards that same cone.
Yes.
And once that happened,
You ping pong.
I was lost. Now I'm back in, you know, pulling up back and forth, and you only get so many before they start dinging you.
12 points.
By the time it was all said and done, I finally ended up just resetting the whole thing, like pulling all the way back out, resetting. I finally figured it out, got it back into the box. Knew I was coming up on time limit too. So I jumped out. There was my last get out and look. Jumped out, run back. I got my trailer is in the box in the back. I look down the right side. I'm good on the cones there. Look down the left side. So I'm good on the cones there. I run back to the truck, jumped up inside, pull the horn. He blows the whistle, and I'm like, oh man.
Oh, so you blew the horn and then he blew the whistle.
Exactly.
So,
Which indicated a failure of the test.
oh man.
And so he asked me to get out, and I get out, and I come back, and I look, and he goes, all right. He goes, you failed due to points. He goes, you were within the time limit barely.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, but I want to let you know why you failed on the points. He goes, look down this truck right here. And I look down the driver's side, and he goes, you see that lug nut right there?
No way.
And I went, what?
Oh my God.
Like, and I'm having to squint to see down the line. And I didn't believe him. I went walking up there, and I'm telling you, it was maybe a quarter of an inch of the lug nut was over the line. Failed the test.
I can't believe that. Now, did he question your backing skills as an examiner?
Not really. Well, he asked me. He said something to the effect of, did you feel comfortable, with your backing maneuvers? Did you feel confident? Like, do you feel like you were trained? And I said, yeah. I mean, because I felt confident going into the whole thing until you don't feel confident anymore. It's like everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face. And once I got off because the reference points and everything had changed and I got punched in the face, I was wobbly for a while. I didn't know how to fix it. And that was the thing that if I ever train, it's the number one thing I told myself I would never ever do. I would never allow my student to not understand how to fix a mistake.
The fundamentals.
You can teach them how to get in the box every single time if it goes perfectly. But what happens if something goes awry? You're turning that wheel and you're looking at stuff, and if you lose concentration for 1 second, that 1 second puts your trailer in a different position than you were trained on. So you have to be able to fix the mistakes, and that's the number one thing.
And that's why I tell people you have to learn and understand the fundamentals of backing.
Yes.
You have to get into all these scenarios to where you can fix. It ain't just me telling you, all right, do this, do that. No, what are we going to do? If you guys watch my videos, I always ask my students, what are we going to do? What would you do? What are you going to do? Because I want to see where he stands as far as understanding the concept of backing. And if he doesn't, that's where I come in and help him say, all right, this is why, this, and that. You know what I mean? So you retake the test.
Yep.
And
I nailed it.
You nailed it.
Nailed it the second time.
I was going to say, I hope you nailed it.
Yep.
I didn't want to say, oh, yeah, you passed. So,
nope.
So you passed the test the second time. And then, did you go out TNT with that trainer?
No, hell no.
Did he ask you?
No. And I did not ask him.
Oh my God. He didn't ask you, you didn't ask him. Okay, that's good. So now you're into the TNT, which I think at that time it was
50,000 when I originally got on the.
But because you came through the Prime program as 40,000.
It changed to 40, I think my third week into training.
Okay. So you're doing a TNT training. How was TNT training overall? What? Oh man, let's get ready for this, guys. Let me see.
The people that want to know every detail that happened, they can go watch my training video. I put out a training video on my channel. Obviously, my channel
Country Trucker Brad. Go check him out on YouTube.
Is the truth. You always get the truth, whether it's good or bad. From me. I don't sugarcoat anything. The first trainer, he was very eclectic for sure. He He was very short-tempered.
Dang.
Not necessarily directed at me. He treated me with respect the whole time. No issues there. Like, we got along great. But his driving literally scared the shit out of me.
Wow.
Okay. His antics scared the shit out of me. It was so bad that I eventually had to get my fleet manager involved and to secretly route me back to Springfield to get me off his truck. That's how concerned for my life I was.
And you spoke up.
And you have to be able to speak up. You can't. These trainers are individuals, and Prime cannot be, or any trucking company for that fact, cannot be in the truck like a supervisor hanging out every time a trainer and trainee goes on the road. So the guys that need to know things, they have to be able to base the trust that you will tell them if something is going wrong.
To be able to fix it.
Yeah, exactly. So they eventually routed us back to Springfield. And I was hoping that they were just going to, call me and tell me that I needed to go to an office somewhere and send me back to the hotel. He was going to go on his way. And that's not what happened. So what happened was the heads of the training department, my fleet manager, and another guy, I don't remember exactly what his title was, but all three of them, obviously because COVID was still going on, two of them were basically on a video conference call, and Stan Casterkey, the head of the training department, was actually physically in the room at the table with my trainer and I. And they had all the documentation, that I had sent them. I had sent some stuff early on in the process to some other people that I was kind of confiding in because I wasn't sure exactly how to handle the situation. And he had all those notes and he started asking questions because they didn't just want to take the word, from me. They wanted to ask him. Now, I give him all the credit in the world. He answered those questions absolutely honestly, except for one. And the one was the time that he sideswiped a Landstar truck trailer trying to get onto the freeway.
Oh my God.
He absolutely did not answer that correctly. He held his claim that the Landstar truck and trailer is the one that sideswiped him. And that was absolutely not the truth. Not at all.
Oh my God. If that happened, I can only imagine what else happened.
Oh.
Could have happened and didn't happen.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like I said, if you get a chance to go watch the full video, and there was even some stuff that I left out, just because I didn't feel like I needed to go any further. People got the point.
That's good. That's good. So that was your first TNT trainer.
Exactly.
How many did you have total? Two. So you went on to the second guy.
Second guy comes to Springfield, picks me up, literally has me backing the truck into spots out on the training pad within the first 45 minutes that I'm in the truck with him.
That's good.
That was amazing. The first guy was, he would always be telling me, oh, turn the wheel to the right. And I'm like, turn the wheel to the right? Oh, I got to turn it to the left. Whatever, you're the boss. Turn the wheel to the right.
See, and that's another thing that I don't do. I do it, but I explain why. If you don't understand. And that's the reason why I don't have walkie-talkies to where the student is up here, I'm in the back with the radio. Because I personally like to see the student's reaction when we talk about something and I explain something to them, and if they're looking at me like, what? Like, I got to make sure I understand that they're not understanding.
Yep.
Because if I'm in the back and I'm saying, hey man, Brad, do this, do that, he's probably up here like, what did he say? I don't know what he wants me to do. Like, he said, what? I said, I guess I'm gonna do this. And I don't see those reactions because I'm in the back. So that's why I like to stand up here by the door in the window and kind of,
Yep.
see, all right, let's get out, look, whatever. Because I just want to see your reaction, your face. So
Yeah, I mean, I specifically remember this one time we were we pulled into a Walmart, and we were just stopping to, grab some waters and stuff. He wanted to get a haircut or something, and there was really no parking like out towards the front where like cars would park and stuff. So we basically had to park up against the curb, kind of around the back where the trucks would, dock to the store. And we pull up, and I pull up and I set up, and the curb's on the left hand side. And I remember him specifically telling me, he's like, "Oh, you got to turn the wheel this way." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, like, no, I need the trailer to go that way. I got to turn the wheel this way." And then I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm wrong. And so then I started turning the way he wanted me to, and I literally started moving the truck backwards. And all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, sorry." He's like, I was looking at the wrong thing. You pull back. Like, so the way that he was trying to teach the backing, it didn't jive. It didn't mesh. Like, he was getting himself confused, and he was confusing me. The second trainer, once he got here, he asked me, we went through a little interview. He goes, "So you've been driving?" He goes, "How do you handle the truck?" I go, "Dude, I can drive this truck anywhere you want to go across the country. I can take it through mountains. I got no problems driving." He goes, "So what are your concerns?" And I go, "Backing." He goes, "Well, let's go to the pad." And within 45 minutes, I had concepts. I knew what the trailer would do if the truck did something. And that was the thing that you have to understand, is that you have to understand, if you do something with the truck, the trailer is doing something else.
right.
And you have to be able to kind of, and it's backwards from the way you've always normally driven. So you got to kind of, understand when you need to turn, which way, to get the trailer to react the way you want it to.
Yeah, yeah. So you finished the miles with this second guy.
Yep.
And you're ready to upgrade.
Yes.
Did you go company or lease?
I went company.
You went company. Nothing wrong with that. I always recommend people go company first. So you went company.
Yep.
And now, how long have you been on your own?
So I had a company truck. When I got that in, I want to say June. I drove that until August. And my fleet manager and I, there was some issues going on there. I didn't really like how he was kind of handling things with me. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to turn my company truck in, and I'm actually going to go team with someone else. And so
Right.
I went and teamed with a guy that I had met in Springfield. We've actually become pretty good friends. JDQ Transportation. He's got
Okay.
a YouTube channel out there.
Yeah,
as
go
well.
check him out. JDQ Transportation.
So
Shout
I
out to him.
So I went and teamed with him for about, I want to say a month and a half,
Okay.
until my next truck came in.
All right. So since June, you've been on, you did solo, then you went team, and then you went back solo. So there's nothing wrong with that. So overall, to this date, if there's something you can change, what would you change about the whole process from beginning to now?
That's a good question.
Overall, what do you think about the company?
Oh, I think it's tremendous. Hands down, I think Prime is absolutely an outstanding company. I have felt welcomed by everyone. The people that you run into, it just, everybody, I know it's cliche, everybody says, oh, it feels like a family. And don't get me wrong, I mean, there are, a lot of individuals that are within Prime that just do their own thing, and they don't want to socialize with really anybody. They just do their own thing. But there are really a lot of people out there who are willing to reach out to you and help you and answer questions. So yeah, I mean, if I could change one thing.
Let me ask you another question.
If I could change one thing, I would like to have more home time and still make the same money.
Don't we all want that, guys? I think we all want that. So for you and your family, how hard has it been you doing this job with you being away and your wife and kids?
So, my oldest, obviously she's 16. I'm a parent. Everybody knows how that relationship is. It's hot and cold, you know. I think she misses me, but she won't really say she misses me. The younger one, I think she misses me more, and she's actually really super excited when I do come home. So much so that, you know, when I come up, she'll actually, you know, come jump into my arms. What's that good there, Joe?
Hey, hold up, guys. Hey, Canadian, how's it going, brother? It won't be down either.
So anyways, the wife, I mean, we've kind of, you know, played around with some different things as far as time out. We've kind of got it narrowed down to 4 to 5 weeks is about the point.
Yeah.
You know, 4 to 5 weeks, and then 4 or 5 days at home. You know, that's probably the sweet spot for me being gone. And I've been out a couple of times. Like I was out 8 weeks with JDQ, and it was just too much. By the time 8 weeks comes around, you know, I'm cranky.
No,
you know,
because of
everything's starting to irritate you, and you know, you're just ready to go home and just decompress for a while. Because when you are out on the road, truck driving is stressful in its own ways. You are literally 24/7 head on a swivel when you're in that driver's seat. You're watching out not just for what you're doing, but you're watching out for everybody else. Big trucks, little trucks, you know, traffic, construction, weather. It beats you down over time. And I think, you know, 4 to 5 weeks is probably about that point for us.
All right, that's good. So you come to Prime, you go company.
Yep.
What kind of truck did you get? What you got?
Right now I'm in a 2022 Freightliner.
Hey,
it's got 17,000 miles on it.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a Freightliner. Nothing wrong.
I don't
with
know any difference. Everybody's talking about Pete's. I don't know anything about Pete.
Peterbilt sucks. Peterbilt sucks. Take Peterbilt to the. But anyway, so overall you've been good. What advice would you give new people wanting to come into the industry as far as getting into the industry? You know me, I'm a trainer. I always tell people, ask questions and back as much as you can. So overall, with your experience here at Prime, what advice would you give people coming in?
Well, the first thing I would say, make sure you study. Make sure you're ahead of the game. You don't want to be behind the curve. As much as you can do, as much studying and preparing that you can do ahead of time, whether it's watching videos, you know, illustrations, reading books, manuals, whatever. Do that before you ever come. Be prepared. You also need to be prepared mentally, because like I said, this job will beat you down if you are not strong-minded. The other thing is, you have to kind of decide whether or not you're a people person enough to live in a box with someone, if you're going to team drive. And if you're not, you also have to be mentally prepared to be solo. Like, you are on your own.
Yeah, some people don't like to be solo.
Exactly.
Some people would want to team with somebody.
So you got to know what fits for your personality.
Yeah. So let me ask you something, man. I had a student one time. He used to tell me he was country, and he had a cowboy hat like you do.
Yeah.
But you know, I've always like, really, you're country? Like, he only put the hat one time. I said, bro, you a fake country dude, man. You just saying you're a country guy. I've only seen you wear their hat one time, bro. He was so mad. Oh my God, he was so mad. Oh my God, I didn't do videos with him. His name was James. I told him, I said, you're a fake country dude, man. You don't ever wear your cowboy hat. He said, dude, Junior, let me tell you, man. I'll never forget. We was in Salt Lake City, and he only put it one time to go out. I said, really, James? You're gonna put your hat on now, your cowboy hat on now. You've been with me some time now, and you just not putting it on. He said, man, you know, I just don't want to get it damaged, man. I don't want it to get messed up. Let's see if that hat is so important to you that you don't want to get it messed up. Okay, but why bring something so valuable out here on the road that you're not gonna use? So let me get on here, guys. Country Trucker Brad on YouTube. Go check him out. Let me see if anybody's got any questions for you guys, man. A place of advice of any new truck driver: be ready to give up a lot on your home time and be ready to give up family, at least temporarily. Okay, no, let me see. A lot of factors have to come into something like that and be considered, like pulling the barn door. Let me see. Hey, Junior, does Prime accept people with DACA? No, they don't.
What was that?
DACA, it's a permit. It's a temporary work permit.
Oh.
If you do, you have to get your CDL back home and then come in and get the training. Why can't Country Trucker Brad buy his own truck to Prime instead of paying off a truck for someone else? Well, I mean, he can do a lot of things. Everybody can do a lot of things, but everybody is at a different stage in life. Just like you are saying he could and should, there's a lot of things that he might be saying about somebody else or me about him, or, you know, everybody's different at a different stage in life. So you can't really say what he needs to do and not do, because it's up to him and his family and his wife.
Well, you're all individuals too. So what works for one person may not work for everyone. You know, some people are, you know, squares, some people are triangles, some people are circles, you know, and you can't fit those objects into the opposite holes. They don't fit.
Right.
And so you got to kind of figure out what fits for you and your, you know, situation in life and your family. If I was single and didn't have a family, maybe I would have jumped right into lease. I don't know.
Man, if I was single and didn't have family, there's a lot of things I would do.
Exactly.
I mean, a whole lot of things I would do, but that's besides the point. So the main thing here is to know what you want, have a plan, who, what, where, and how much, and stay focused on that. Yes. Yep. This is a life change. Exactly. Everyone's situation is different. What's good, yo? What's going on, my man? How has it been going, Junior? Pretty good. Exactly. Find your niche and run with it. Yes. Let me see. Is it? It is, but you don't have to be a slave to it. No, I mean, there's different things, guys. Everybody's situation is different. So let me go back and read some more comments over here, guys. Let me see. Starting with Prime in February. Can't wait. That's what's up, Road Blazer. More home times, I wish. I think we all want that. You know, a lot of people, yeah, exactly. I think that's the one thing that ultimately we all want to do, is be home more. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard, exactly. Okay, yeah, I already read that. So yeah, man. Country Trucker Brad on YouTube, guys. Go check him out. He's doing the company thing. He's got a Freightliner, so yes, go check him out. Yeah, he's not driving no crapper bill.
It took me so long to get an interview with Junior here, and I remember when I first came. So when I first started watching videos, Junior wasn't who I was going to use as a referral. There was actually another Prime driver who had motivated me. I'm not going to mention names,
right.
But motivated me to just make sure I took that leap forward. And when I reached out and messaged him, he never responded back to me. And I was like, was this kind of fake or what's going on? But Junior's videos were actually the most helpful videos out there for me at the time. So I did drop his name as a referral code.
I appreciate that,
man. I don't think he really understands who I am, because I messaged him on YouTube way at the beginning and let him know that I...
Let me tell you something, guys. Let me make sure I make this clear, because, you know, first of all, I would like to appreciate you doing that, man, and everybody else that puts me down as a referral. Thank you very much. As far as the messaging and responding, I try to get to everybody as much as I can when I can, and I'm the type of person that if I'm gonna respond, I'm gonna give you my attention 100%. I'm not gonna just blow you off with the answer and be like, we're done, you know, blah, blah, whatever. No, I like to give you my attention. So a lot of people don't seem to understand that. So let's talk about truck driver sentenced to 110 years in prison. What do you want to talk about him? I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, He messed up. He messed up. He got what he deserved, I guess. I mean, I don't know what to say to that, man. Should there be a process for trainers to review and critique other trainers? There should be a lot of things in here, Troy Allen. And I wish I could say a lot of things, but there's not much more I can do other than tell you guys to speak up, call out these guys that are not training properly, and move on to the next guy.
That's the only way they'll ever know.
Let me see. Junior, I started as a jockey driver. I studied your videos and learned how to clutch. Thank you. I also used the school for the truck to take my test in. You helped me, bro. Here I am 3 years later. Thank you. That's what's up, Ghost Power. That's good, man. That's good. And I appreciate, again, everybody that watches the videos. I started the YouTube doing it for 3 reasons. One is the students and I can go back and watch the video and maybe learn something from the other point of view, or the students from my point of view. And 2, that the students' family can see their progress as far as what they're doing out here. Because when I first came out here, my wife thought I was sightseeing. I kid you not. My wife thought I was out here on vacation. And I said, what? I said, wait, first of all, I'm working. She used to be upset, got mad at me a few times. She's like, well, you're out there seeing, these sites that we only see on television and this and that. I was like, wait a minute. I'm asleep half of the time. So, I mean, I don't know what to say, but yeah, we're out here working, guys. And Joseph Quickton, that was my trainer. Oh my God, that was my man. Woo-wee, that's who made me. Joseph Quickton, man. Q. That was my trainer back here in Prime back in the day. Back in 2011. That's when I started, guys.
Wow.
Yeah. July 2011. Joseph Q. So yeah, I was with him, and my wife used to think I was out here just doing it. And another reason is so the students can go back and see their progress years down the road once they get on their own truck. And they can go back and say, yes, I remember that day, Junior. I remember this. I remember that. There's so many stories and so many memories that are left behind, and you can only go back and replay. I mean, a lot of stuff we have in our memory, but it's a good feeling to go back and watch a video or a picture. And it's like, yeah, I remember that day.
Absolutely. I got a question for Junior.
What? Oh, me? Oh, my God.
What made you to decide to come to Prime?
I guess we're gonna have to do a video on your channel. So, video on Country Trucker. Wait, man, I always mess that up.
Trucker Brad.
Country Trucker Brad video coming soon. We're gonna have to plan that one. That was a good question. That is a good question.
Out of all the videos, I don't think I've ever seen that question answered.
And we're not gonna answer it here. Oh my God, dude! I would drive your manual truck if you buy a new one. Why would I buy a new one? No, I'm trying to sell it. Hey, Joseph Q. Hey, I'm selling the white truck, man. Hey, I'm planning to come to Prime in February. I'm planning to document everything on my YouTube channel as well. Fearless Fly 100. Yes, I swear my girl thinks the same thing. It's hard, bro. Yes. My goal to meet Junior. Brian Mendoza, that's what's up, man. Junior, I'm company driver for 11 years. I have been driving manual. That's what's up. Joseph Q, I love you too, man. Dang, man. We need to stay in touch, man. I've been calling you a few times. You haven't picked up, bro. What's going on? So, that was my trainer, guys. I still remember to this day, we was on a pad, and he was training with some other dude, and I remember I was checking him out. I was like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. The guy I was assigned to didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know the parts to the engine. He was asking other people. And I was like, I said, yo, man, this guy doesn't know nothing, man. Do you have a student yet? And at that time, you can freelance and kind of pick your trainers and stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, Joe, I needed you to train me, Joe. I need you to train me, man. And at that time, I'll never forget, man. I'll never forget that. That time, I was ready to go out with some dude. And I was like, dang. And I was still holding the hope that Joe would come back and pick me up. Sure enough, he did, man. He came back. He said, Junior, where you at, man? I said, I'm over here, man. About to go. You gonna take me, man? You gonna take me? And he was like, yeah, I'll take you. And I was like, for real? He said, man, it was good. It was good. Real good trainer, guys.
That's funny because I actually wanted you to train me based off of your videos.
Yeah, man. And the videos that I was doing with Al, just the 6 days, what you see is what I give and what it's supposed to be, man. I mean, luckily, there's only 6 videos in there so far. Hopefully, Al gets back on the road. We're going to be doing some more, and you're going to be seeing everything that needs to be done. I mean, and you'll see, guys, 30,000 miles can be the number of miles, but may not be enough. Everybody's different.
Exactly.
And I always say miles is only a number.
Yep.
You can have 100,000 miles under your belt
And still not be ready.
and still not be, or not know anything, not know how to back. Oh, because your trainer's too afraid to let you back between trailers.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, a lot of the guys are scared to let these guys back, man. I don't know why. My trainer let me back. I was like, hey, man, let me back it up, man. He's like, all right, man. All right, cool. He was good. He was good, man. Let me see. I've been watching your videos a while. How hard is it to build your fleet? It's not easy. I'll say that much.
You got to be dedicated.
Yes. Pobre Cubano, what a tragedy. Hey, what I got to say about the guy, they got 110 years for all the things that he caused, the deaths. If he wasn't ready to get his own truck, because all he was thinking it was about money and how much he was going to be making a week running miles, this is the result of that. I mean, you guys think about this. You guys think about this. Not saying that it'll happen to you, but man, if you're not ready to upgrade to your own truck, don't upgrade. Say something.
Yeah.
Say something, guys. I mean, I don't know.
And the other thing I'll say about that whole incident was, as a truck driver, when you're going down a hill, you know if your brakes are starting to go.
Oh yeah,
you are not just, you know, putting that thing in neutral and letting it fly down there at 100 miles an hour.
And I think
you are on and off those brakes, and you can tell if there's something wrong. Like I said, he just made some few bad decisions.
And I think from what I heard, he had options to get off the runaway ramp. So we're not going to talk about that because this video is not about that. This video is about Country Trucker Brad. My man, you know, go check him out on YouTube, guys. We have an interview pending.
One day.
Yeah, we're gonna get it done. We're gonna get it done. So, need a ride from Florida to Springfield in February, Junior. Hey, Blazer, if I'm open, hey, let's do it. So, Country Trucker Brad, appreciate you doing this video, man.
Not a problem at all.
Thank you for everything.
Absolutely.
You know, thank you for watching the videos back then.
Hey.
Thank you for putting me down as a referral. Driver code material. In the description of the video is a link to the application, guys. Go ahead and use that. Everybody, have a good night.
I'll talk to you again. Merry Christmas.
You hungry?
Yeah.
So we're gonna go get something to eat now. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
See you guys.
We're out.